Hello, boys and girls, and those who bounce in between. Comrade Danky here with another tale from my town, the city of Memphis. This was, of course, published in the Commercial Appeal on May 10th, 2019. It says Martavious Banks in, indicted on several charges after being shot by MPD officer in 2018. So this guy is shot, but he gets indicted anyway. It's not punishment enough getting fucking shot, put in a coma, or anything like that. Jerica Banks, Martavious Banks' younger sister, holds a sign with Martavious photos after marching to the Memphis Police Association to demand answers about his shooting, September 16, 2018. Photo, Brad Vest, The Commercial Appeal. A man shot by Memphis police officer last year during a traffic stop was indicted on several charges Thursday, according to the Shelby County court system. Martavious Banks, 25, was indicted on evading arrest, reckless driving, unlawful possession of a weapon, and driving without a license, which were in violation of his parole, according to the court system. Banks was shot and critically injured by a Memphis police officer on September 17th during a traffic stop in South Memphis as he was entering into a home nearby. Banks' shooting immediately sparked week-long protests throughout the various areas of the city while Banks was on life support in the hospital. Several protesters were arrested and charged during the demonstrations. So this is September 19, 2 days later. Protesters sit and block traffic on Elvis Presley Boulevard while protesting the officer-involved shooting of Martavious Banks. Protesters had shut down traffic along Elvis Presley near the site of the shooting after news that the officers involved in the shooting of the Banks may have improperly switched off their dashboard or body cameras or didn't turn them on. Jamarcus James, 26, the officer accused of shooting Banks, did not have his body camera operating during the incident, according to MPD. James resigned from the department on February 15th during an administrative hearing where he was potentially going to face disciplinary actions ranging from a written reprimand to termination. So that's it. A written reprimand or termination? You don't go to fucking jail for just shooting somebody? We're just supposed to believe that he was on the up and up and he just honestly forgot to turn on his fucking camera? The other two officers involved in the shooting, Christopher Knoll and Michael Williams II, received unpaid suspensions for not having their body cameras activated during the shooting either, according to police. Wow, guys, I guess it's just a big coincidence. We got 3 officers on the scene, and not a single fucking one of them remembered to turn on their body camera during the fatal shooting of a black man. I'm sure nothing nefarious happened. I'm sure it was totally, legit whatever happened there. There was nothing, that could have been misconstrued as police brutality. Lieutenant Charles Mowry, another officer who arrived at the scene of Banks' shooting, was also reprimanded by MPD for not having his body camera. So none of these fucking chodes on the scene of the crime, 4 fucking officers, none of them had a body camera on. So I guess we're just supposed to take their word for it. Yeah, forgive me for being a little bit fucking suspicious. Family and activists react to the indictment. Banks' lawyer Arthur Horn said on Thursday that they still have not seen the investigative report from the Tennessee Bureau of Investigations. Once again, shout out to TBI for just being totally fucking fascist pieces of shit. Horn questioned the indictment, specifically if Banks had a gun or not at any time during the traffic stop. During the course of our investigation, it never came up. Maybe it came up with the TBI report, but we've never seen it. A gun, Horn said in an interview on Thursday. So, I mean, what was the justification here? What could the cops honestly say? Like, I know he was violating his parole, but that doesn't give you carte blanche just to fucking shoot somebody. And that's certainly no excuse for 4 fucking officers on the scene not having their body cameras on. All 4 of them should be fired in complete, at the very least. I would say they need to be in jail for murder and for covering up evidence of a murder. But, during let's see, Banks's mother Janice Banks is also looking for more information to be given to the Shelby County District Attorney's Office. Banks said she had not seen any new information from the police department and the district attorney's office. She confirmed on Thursday during a phone interview that her son was taken to 201 Poplar, which is a hospital. So this is September 20. Janice Banks, the mother of Martavious Banks, the man who was shot by Memphis police officers, holds her fists in the air while Black Lives Matter activist Pamela Moses, not pictured, speaks during a press conference Thursday morning at the corner of Gill Street and Elvis Presley Boulevard. Banks said she believes her son has become a target in the city. My son is a target to them. Now that they know they got him arrested, they want to put charges on him, Banks said in an interview. They want to make him look bad right now, but there is no way they can make him look bad when they got lies in their reports. Once again, they fucking shoot this guy, Martavious Banks, and then they fucking indict him anyway. Gee, talk about kicking a man while he's down. It's almost like kicking a man while he's shot. I still want to see what they're going to do about this officer that cut his cameras off. I'll tell you what they're going to do. She said that's more important than what Martavious has going on. I agree, but let me tell you, you're never, ever, ever going to see an apology or an excuse as to why all 4 of those officers responding had none of their cameras turned on. Because there is no excuse. What is there to say? We were so fucking stupid that all 4 of us forgot to turn our cameras on? I mean, that's pretty much what the only thing they can say in their defense. Hunter Dempster, one of the protesters arrested after a string of demonstrations were taking place, said there's an obvious lack of accountability in Banks' case. Dempster was one of 6 protesters who was charged with disorderly conduct and obstruction of a highway. Dempster was also charged with inciting a riot. Once again, look at my video where I talk about how the Civilian Law Enforcement Review Board has been just completely butt-fucked by the Memphis leadership. Memphians have no way to address their grievances. So yeah, inciting a riot, as it's called in here, what else are we supposed to do, to address our grievances but take to the streets and protest? After referencing that all 3 officers involved were sanctioned for body camera policy violations by the department, Dempster believes the charges given to Banks are an example of authorities looking to shift the narrative. Yeah, they're trying to say that, we were totally justified in our complete heavy-handed fascist response, being total pigs, because this guy violated his parole. Once again, I don't give a flying fuck. Unless he was like directly looking to harm the officers, there's zero fucking reason to shoot somebody. Barbara Burris, who was part of a protest against the police shooting of Martavious Banks, is arrested along Elvis Presley Boulevard on September 19th. Protesters shut traffic along Elvis Presley near the site of the shooting after news the officers involved in the shooting of Banks may have improperly switched off their dashboard or body cameras or didn't turn them on. It seems like a ploy to paint him, Banks, in some way, Dempster said on the phone interview on Thursday. Community members have been charged throughout this case. Activists have been targeted. Activists are targeted throughout the case. Police created this whole entire situation. Would have been avoided if they had done their jobs properly. You hear that, pigs? Do your fucking jobs properly. Protect and serve the people of Memphis and don't fucking kill them, and there wouldn't be a problem. Accept the Civilian Law Enforcement Review Board and accept their fucking oversight. Give us some transparency and maybe you'll win back a little bit more trust with the people of Memphis. I don't know, call me crazy. The city of Memphis, the MPD, and Shelby County District Attorney General's office were not available for comment at the time of the story being published. Banks is suspected to be at court Friday 9 a.m. Alright, of course they didn't fucking respond. They're just fucking pathetic chodes. No charges against Memphis police officers in Martavious Banks shooting, so Shelby County DA says.
And first and foremost, I want to let y'all know that what I'm about to say has nothing to do with my mom or my brother's legal team. It's just things that I want to know as a brother. So I have a few questions that I want answers to for myself.
This is Martavious Banks' brother in a personal statement to the press.
I want to know, why wasn't these charges that my brother has received recently added to his record when he was first shot? Secondly, I want to know, if him being shot didn't involve drugs, why hasn't his property been released to the family members?
Oh shit. So not only did they shoot the guy, they took everything he had on him too, and they're holding it as evidence, even though there's no reported drugs. So the pigs not only shot him, they shot him and they robbed him. And now they're fucking him while he's in the hospital too, because they're trying to indict him.
If the DA found a way to indict my brother, I feel like these officers should be charged as well. They not only broke police policy, but they shot into an occupied dwelling.
Wow, they shot into an occupied dwelling? Way to be fucking... Oh, what was the words Mayor Strickland used? Professional and reserved, was it? Yeah, real fucking professional, shooting into an occupied building, turning off all of your body cameras, just basically being dipshit idiots. Good job, Memphis police. He says, my brother still has rods and bullets in his arms that have not been removed, yet he is still jailed by the same people who shot him. I want some answers to what's going on, said Jamarius Banks. Jamarius Banks described his brother's current mental state as depressed. Well, yeah, man. I would be fucking depressed if I got shot and all my shit got stolen. At this point, I'm speechless, said Arthur Horn, Martavious Banks' attorney. I can only assume that there's some information that was with the TBI report that I haven't seen that she based her decision to indict Martavious Banks. I'm still in the dark. Once again, fucking TBI and MPD aren't being transparent at all. Where is the fucking civilian oversight in this shit? Why aren't we getting the entire information? Why does the TBI have access to shit that Martavious' lawyer doesn't have access to? How's he supposed to get justice? How's his lawyer supposed to defend him if he doesn't know the nature of the fucking charges brought against him? Officer Jamarcus James resigned February 6th. Oh, but I'm sure it was because he did nothing wrong. He was totally in the right. They received 20-day unpaid suspensions and written reprimands. 20 days. That's not even 3 fucking weeks off. And then written reprimands. So what? You get a letter telling you, ooh, you did bad. You're a bad boy. Yeah, that's some great discipline right there. I'm sure if the Civilian Review Board was in charge of deciding the fate of these fucking officers, I'm sure they would be met with just a 20-day unpaid suspension and written reprimands. They should be in fucking prison. They committed a murder, and they deliberately did not record evidence because they knew what they were doing was wrong. Lieutenant Charles Mowry received 5-day unpaid suspension because he didn't turn on his body camera after arriving at the scene. Horn said Banks was shot in the back. Martavious Banks had hearings in 2 General Sessions courtrooms, Horn said, where 4 charges for driving on a suspended license were dismissed. Charges dismissed. Okay, guys? However, he remains in the Shelby County Jail on a $4,000 bond for violating his probation and on a $20,000 bond for all the charges listed in the indictment. So here's just another example of MPD just getting away with shooting a young black man scot-free. They get a fucking unpaid 20-day suspension and a little slap on the wrist with a written reprimand. That's stupid as fuck, dude. What kind of punishment is that? What kind of discipline is that? Once again, these people should be in jail, all right? Jamarcus James should be in jail. Christopher Noel should be in jail. Michael Williams II should be in jail. Lieutenant Charles Mowry should be in jail. Stupid, man. But yeah, our brave boys in blue, who Mayor Strickland defends and says we're totally, professional and reasonable. And now we have Brandon Weber killed in the streets of Frazier, shot 20 times by Memphis cops. And already we're seeing the apologies. We're seeing the people coming out trying to rehabilitate them, make excuses for them. So let's just read a little bit about Brandon Weber, the 20-year-old kid who was shot 20 times by cops in his front yard. For 3 years in high school, Brandon Weber was a member of an organization called Facing History and Ourselves. While enrolled at Central High School, he would sit and visit other schools and host teach-ins to talk to other students about important topics like the Holocaust, race in America, and immigration. That's how Emma Wagner, 20, a graduate from White Station High School, met him. We worked closely together in the program our sophomore and junior year, Wagner said. He was such a good leader. He was so free-spirited and easygoing. He could just talk to anyone. He made everyone feel a part, and he didn't ever leave anyone out. So this is what the pigs say. In response to a threat posted by the subject, members of the task force fired their weapons, striking and killing him. Once again, I don't fucking believe anything these pigs say until you can show us some evidence. I don't fucking believe it. I don't believe Martavious Banks had a gun or drugs or anything like that. I don't believe he was resisting. Just like I don't believe Brandon Weber was resisting. Let's see. At a press conference Thursday afternoon, DeSoto County District Attorney John Champion said Weber went Hernando on June 3rd under the guise of purchasing a car from a man he met on Facebook. He was accused, key word here, boys and girls, accused of shooting the man 5 times and stealing the car. The U.S. Marshals were attempting to arrest him on charges of armed robbery, aggravated assault, and conspiracy to commit armed robbery. The marshals were dealing with a violent suspect, Champion said. I wish people would sit back and see what happened. Well, where's the fucking body cam video then? Where is it? If you want us to fucking believe that these officers are just killing all these black kids with total justification and they were totally within their right to do so, well then show us the fucking body cam footage. Either put up or shut up. Because I don't believe a single fucking word that comes out of these people's mouths. It wasn't something where they shot up into Memphis to find someone, and this occurred. He was a violent felon that did not want to go to jail. He had no appreciation for the oh my fucking god. Can you believe the balls on the fucking the US Marshals, saying that this kid had no appreciation for the value of human life? They shot into an occupied building. They fired 20 fucking shots into him. But yeah, he had no appreciation for the value of human life. So the Marshal Service knew that when they went into it. TBI said Weber was accused of ramming his vehicle into the officers' vehicles multiple times before getting out of the car with a weapon. No officers were injured, and officials have not said what kind of weapon Weber may have used. Once again, I don't fucking believe the officers here. I don't believe Weber had a weapon. I don't believe he was brandishing it. I don't believe he rammed his car into them. So apparently
Yeah, I think.
that was Captain oh it, a raw video of police and people gathered on Kingsley Avenue in Memphis after officer involved shooting. So that was pretty much the scene. People are remembering him. Let's see. He was an honor student. She said he was an honor student. He was an excellent student, she said. For me, he was the kind of student a teacher could count on to be disciplined and focused. She went on to say Weber had the ability to learn about an event in history and think critically to see how the lessons could apply to the present, and that he often led thoughtful classroom discussions. We are all larger and better people than the worst things we ever do, McIntosh said, quoting Brian Stevenson, attorney and executive director of the Equal Justice Initiative, who she said inspired Weber's passion for social justice. It's really important that the Brandon I knew is celebrated because that was a really, really important part of who he was, in my view. When we look at anyone's life, we need to look at all aspects of them. Brandon was kind, intelligent, and funny. Brandon was a wonderful person to be with. About an hour before his death, Weber posted a live video to Facebook. It showed him driving around a Memphis neighborhood, talking to people on the street, rapping along to songs on the radio, and talking about how he needed someone to help him clear his head after a stressful day. In the video, Weber was smoking, and he stopped to give a man who stopped him something from a green bag. He laughs at one person who asked him to stop and buy some honey gold hot wings, and then talked about how he didn't like to go out with another friend too often because that person liked to spend too much money and stay out too late. If you go out with Bull, you're going to spend $2,000 and you're not going home till 6 in the morning, he said in the video, which is no longer visible on his Facebook page. I be tired. I got kids. I'm trying to go lay down with me son. Turner doesn't want Weber to be judged by the video and pictures that show him holding wads of cash. Pictures are pictures, she said. You come from a certain place and that's something you know. And this is another thing I want to highlight. You guys remember when Trayvon Martin got shot and killed? And all over the media, they were showing these pictures of him posing like a gangster. Like he was some kind of thug. This video, this picture, they were showing this everywhere. This is, ooh, look at this violent young black man, Trayvon Martin, holding up a middle finger. He's so evil. George Zimmerman was totally right in killing him. So, just let that keep that in your mind if people try to fucking show you pictures of Daniel Weber like with wads of cash. This kid did nothing to deserve being shot 20 times in his front yard. Even if he was a felon, even if he uh, was a violation of probation, the officers reacted with extreme brutality in their killing of Brandon Weber. This young man was killed, and the cops are trying to put the blame on him. The Memphis leadership's trying to put the blame on him. They're trying to blame the victim, ladies and gentlemen, just like they always do. Anytime a young black man gets shot, it's always his fault. It's never the cop's fault. The kid was a gangster. The kid was a criminal. I don't give a fuck what the kid was. Because we have people saying he wasn't those things. We had people saying he cared about social justice. We had people saying he was a great student. So, you know, forgive me for not believing the pigs when they try to spin this as like this kid was a thug and they were totally he was a violent felon that did not want to go to jail. He had no appreciation for the value of human life. Yeah, well, that contradicts directly with this gentle and goofy guy. He cared about. He had a good spirit. He cared a lot about social justice. He was an excellent student. Anyway, this is making me sick. Memphis has some real problems with race. I think the MPD and Mayor Strickland were living in their little bubble where they didn't somehow think that the conditions in Ferguson also applied here as well. A city with a very large black population, with a history of racial tensions. I mean, after all, this is the city where MLK was shot. This is the city where we had a race riot during the Civil War. So yeah, to ignore the element of race, to ignore the grievances of black people who make up a majority of the constituents of this city is completely foolish on the part of Mayor Strickland and on the MPD. They need to be held accountable for this, and they need to accept their share of the blame in this because Jim Strickland, this happened on your fucking watch. And your response to this is going to be judged by the people of Memphis. They're going to see how you took the black people who live here in Memphis and you threw them under the bus and stuck up for the pigs. And when it's time to run for re-election, they're going to remember Brandon Weber and how you threw him under the bus. So thank you for listening.